Welcome to another edition of Insurance Questions Podcast, number 127, Thursday. What is the date today, Donnie? Is it 22nd?
It's August 22nd.
Wow, where has this year gone to?
I just don't know.
I just want to let you know that all the comments from Eddie Buffalo, Donnie Lowe, and Sassy Sarah, who will be joining us, is solely for entertainment purposes. There she is.
There she is.
Why are you waiting for me?
Sarah. Say your thing, Sarah. I just said the disclaimer.
Like, share, subscribe, do all the things on all the places. Bug Eddie on TikTok and ask him why he's so impatient he can't wait 48 seconds for me to join.
Whatever. Go ahead, Don. Finish up.
That fan mail button, like she said, like, subscribe, and send in those questions. We'd love to respond to them.
We want to have some fun on this one here. So today's show is Potluck Thursday with Donnie Lowe, Rock and Roll Edition.
Woohoo!
So I'm going to ask you two separate questions, and don't go off the subject. Just go with the questions that I asked you, because I'm going to be asking you more questions, okay? And since you're first, Sarah, because I know you got homework to do, what is the first concert you ever went to?
Oh, jeez.
This should be easy, Sarah. This should be an easy one.
No, because I can't remember. It was a Christian concert, and I can't remember the bands.
Okay, so was it Jesus and the 12?
No, I wasn't 12. I think I was older than that. But yeah, no. So
you missed it.
I totally missed it.
Right over Sarah's head. Right over Sarah's head. I said.
What did you say?
Did you hear what I asked you?
No, because you were over talking me. I was saying something, and you said something. I didn't hear you.
I said, was the name of the group Jesus and the 12?
No, but it was.
No, but I was 10.
I was not 12. No, because I heard 12, so I was like, I wasn't 12. I think it was older than that. But no, if you would stop over talking me and give me a second, I don't know why you're so busy, like starting podcasts without me.
That's just how I am.
Anyways,
I thought it'd be exciting, but you're not exciting.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not exciting, Sarah. We're going to move on to Donnie. Donnie, who was your first concert?
Well, Sarah, you missed it again. He wasn't saying that you were 12 years old.
I know, I got that. But the problem is when I'm talking and he's talking, I can't hear him. So there's an issue there. But I'll mute myself.
All right. I believe the first concert that I went to, was Spyro Gyra, local Buffalo-based jazz band in the original Tralfamadore Cafe.
You must love that place. This is like the second time we've talked about the Trail on one of our shows.
It is, because I had asked Billy Sheehan if he had ever been to the original one.
Yes.
But this was a place, it was a bar type, venue, and you can get sandwiches and that. But I have a cousin. His name is Tony. Of course.
Hey, that's a shocker. You got a cousin named Tony. That's a shocker right there.
I know, but so my brother, he took my brother and I. We were not of drinking age, and you had to be of drinking age to go to this venue. And so he knew the people, the owner, I think, and the bouncers and all that. He says, "Look, I'm bringing my cousins to listen to the band." And they said, "Sure, that's fine. That's fine." So we had really a front row table. There's, small tables.
They were very small there. I remember them.
Right in front of the stage. It was Spyro Gyra. Mm-hmm. And what kind of made this even more special for all of us is their original drummer who played on Spyro Gyra's first album. I think his name was Tom Walsh, maybe? Tom Walsh. After they recorded their studio album, he got an offer from the band America to tour with them.
That's pretty cool.
And he happened to be in Buffalo for I don't know if it was his wedding or a wedding, and he was there that night, and he sat in for a couple songs with Spyro Gyra. So that was very unique and very memorable for me
That is very
as
cool.
a 15, 16-year-old.
Must be our cousins, the ones that take us to our first concerts, because my cousin Sharon took me to my first concert.
Oh, really?
And it isn't a cool story like yours. It was at the old auditorium, the
Oh, yeah.
Memorial Odd, built during the Depression. And I hated those stairs. It was so steep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever been to the one in Cleveland or Toronto. Same thing. Very steep stairs. Scares the hell out of me. And she took me to REO Speedwagon
Uh-huh.
when they had their big album, High Infidelity. They had tons of hits on that thing, And for me, it was like, oh, this is really cool. And what does that smell? That's the first time I think I smelled marijuana in my life,
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the opener was someone called David Johansen. Have you ever heard of that?
It's ringing a bell, but I can't place David. Is it Johansson or Johansson?
Ended up turning into somebody else.
Oh.
Buster Poindexter.
Oh, my gosh.
The same gentleman that was the drunken cab driver in Scrooged.
Oh, my God. That's so funny.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
You know what? I just thought of this, and I don't know if it's considered a concert or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to see at the Odd Jesus Christ Superstar.
With Ian Gillan?
No, it wasn't Ian Gillan, unfortunately, but they were great. That's when they first started touring for that musical.
All right.
That was a good
off
concert.
topic, Don. Again, we'll get to that other stuff. Sarah, are you ready? I got another question for you. You ready to join us again, honey? I'll be nice and quiet.
Are you going to actually let me talk, or are you going to overtalk me? Because I actually was going to say something else, and you cut me off and gave the floor to Donny.
You know that's always 50-50.
If I'm not, it's going to be one of those things that I can stay on mute the whole time.
Don't you guys wish I would say that? That ain't never happening. No. So first of all, finish what you were going to say. I will sit nice and quietly, and then I have another question for you.
No, it's irrelevant. We can go ahead and move on. Go ahead and answer a question.
All right. What was your favorite concert you went to, Sarah?
My favorite was Linkin Park.
Ooh, interesting. Who opened for them?
Not Disturbed. Stained opened for them.
Wow, interesting. And where was that at, Sarah?
Somewhere in Dallas.
Somewhere in Dallas.
Yeah. I would expand, but I'm afraid that you're going to get excited and start over talking me. So I think the shorter the answers, the better.
You sound like you're on trial. And where were you on the date of?
I know, right?
Was that the first time you smelled marijuana?
Yes. We'll go with that answer. And no, we did not take pot from another concert goer. And I was not late for school because then I also got a flat tire. But actually, no, funny story. So I was still in high school and I was driving. I stayed at a friend's house and we went to school, and it was funny because we walk in, we're late, and they didn't want to give her a tardy pass. They're like, "You're always late." She's like, "No, this is what happened." They're like, "We don't believe you." I walk in and I knew the principal. So the principal was my elementary school principal. And I just didn't have her as my principal for 9th grade. So she knew me, she knew my family, was the principal of my brothers. And I walk in, she's like, "Hey, why are you late?" I was like, "Oh, I got a flat tire. I was staying at her house." And they're like, "Oh, give them both a tardy pass." It was so funny. She's like, "They didn't believe me." And I'm like, "You are late all the time, though." Yeah, anyways.
Well, that was good.
Was the concert?
Huh?
How could you be late for school if you went to a concert and you had a flat tire?
No, so the concert was the night before, but driving to school, my dad had this old El Camino, and it was multiple pieces of a car put together because he was rebuilding it. It didn't have an interior, so it was already a questionable car. And yeah, we got a flat tire, and I can't remember if I hit a curb and it jacked up the tire or what happened, but something happened and I had to change a tire on the side of the road.
So the first time you smelled that stuff, you can't remember how you got the flat tire.
No, can't. Um, no, so full disclosure, I grew up with my dad who was a pothead. Some of our family members are that way. So it's never something I was really into just because I was around it all the time, which is how I know the negative effects and stuff. But yeah, the first time was at the concert.
It would kind of explain a lot if you did, though.
You know, I don't want to say because it's still illegal at the federal level and it's still illegal in Texas. In my younger days, I would partake occasionally, but then I had a panic attack on it. Once you have a panic attack on it, you're just like, no, thank you. I'm good.
All right, Donnie, you ready? What was the best concert? You can't say the Backstreet Boys because we know you're in love with all those guys from one of our other episodes. You can't say that one. I want to know musical performance now, not because they're great guys.
I would say Elton John at
Which
Rich
one?
Stadium, which is now Highmark Stadium that the Buffalo Bills play
Is
in.
that with Billy Joel?
No, it was before then. It was with
Wow.
who opened for him was Boz Scaggs.
Really?
Yeah, that was a incredible concert. And one of the things I remember a lot is it was, an overcast day. It started pouring when Elton John came on, and so he's doing his stuff. He was, of course, covered and everything, and he was going crazy. I think he was wearing that famous like Donald Duck outfit that he would
Yeah,
wear.
I do. I
Yeah,
remember
I
that
think he was wearing that. If
in
I'm
the
not
Central Park
mistaken.
concert. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, he had a bucket of water poured it on his head because everybody was soaking wet in the stands, and he did the same thing.
That's
That
funny.
was pretty cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was great too.
I would have to say, and I was a heavy metal kid, so the best concert I ever saw at the Old Odd had to be a band by the name of Fastway. They blew the other two bands off the stage. It was a 3-piece band, really good. They broke up. Fast Eddie Clark was the guitar player, and the singer ended up moving on to being the lead singer of Flogging Molly. So it's kind of weird.
Oh, really?
And I like that band too. But it was Fastway opening up for Iron Maiden, which I've probably seen more than anybody else. I wore my Iron Maiden shirt today. I didn't know what the hell it was. And they were opening up for Judas Priest. So you had Fastway, Iron Maiden, and Judas Priest, and it was just ridiculous. And I don't know about you, Don, but when you went to a show or a hockey game at the Old Odd, I was deaf the next day.
Yeah,
The acoustics were so bad, and they had those things hanging from the ceiling to deaden the sound. They didn't help.
No, I know. Your ears buzz for a week.
All right, Sarah, I'm coming back to you. I'm rounding out. What is the worst concert you ever saw?
So I don't go to a lot of concerts, and my issue is I love listening to them on the radio. I'll watch music videos, but it's kind of like meeting one of your famous actors or actresses or whatever in person. It kind of disillusions it, and sometimes. So when I saw Linkin Park, they were awesome. They were amazing. Don't want to say it was a bad concert, but it wasn't the same when I listened to it on the radio or watched the music video. So I just stopped going to a lot of concerts anyways. So I've only been to like 2, maybe 3, but yeah, that's just, I don't have a negative one because they were both good concerts.
How about you, Donnie? What was the worst concert you ever saw?
I really can't think of one.
You guys are lucky because I can think of 2.
Really?
We're just a show. Yes. The
No,
first
who?
one was Alanis Morissette when she had the big album, Jagged Little
Jagged
Pill.
Little Pill. Yeah.
Okay. Why was it a bad concert?
She was so stoned she did not know the words.
Really?
It was Tori Amos opened up at Darien Lake for her, and it was just so disappointing. And that was the first time that like the big shows were coming to Darien Lake,
Mhm.
and they were not set up traffic wise. It took me like 4 hours to get there from the New York State Thruway exit, not even from my house, from the
Oh, that's
Thruway exit.
crazy.
And we left early, so we had no trouble getting home because it was just that's a little bit disappointing. You spend all that money, and it's just And in 2018, my daughter Allison, she's my concert buddy. We went and saw live opening up for Guns N' Roses at the Bills Stadium.
Mm.
Fantastic show. No complaints, except the kid next to us was smoking crack, so we didn't stay for the whole thing. So, yeah, unfortunately, I know what crack smells like because I used to own collection agencies, and they would smoke it in the bathroom, and it smells like
Really?
freaking burnt plastic. So if you ever smell that, you see there's crack going on there. Well, I had never thought I'd go into this area.
Yeah.
So fast forward to last year. Remember, I saw Guns N' Roses in 18. Fast forward to last year, Allie and I, our summer concert, we went to Hershey Park.
Mm.
And it was Guns N' Roses again. And the opener was Chrissy Hynde and the Pretenders,
Oh,
which
wow.
I always love the Pretenders, and I've never seen them. And I'll tell
Mhm.
you, her voice is still there. She put on a great show. Fantastic. And then Guns N' Roses come out, Slash comes out, Duff comes out. They sound fantastic. And then Axl opened up his mouth. And Allie said to me, Dad, who is that guy? I go, honey, it's the same guy you saw in 2018. I almost felt like I was robbed.
Really?
All that money, you spent all the time. We paid for a hotel, we paid for getting into Hershey Park, and he should have hung it up a long time ago. It was just like I feel like I got my money stolen. After 4 songs, we left. They opened up with Night Train, which is my favorite Guns N' Roses song, and I'm like, you know what, I'm good. Let's go. That is disappointing. I mean, isn't like when we were kids, Don, when it's like, oh my God, that last concert I saved my money up for, I got gold tickets. So gold was like the best tickets you could get. Don, I paid $15. Holy crap. Can you believe I paid $15?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny because your story with Alanis Morissette reminded me of the Christian concert I went to. I was disappointed somebody was getting over laryngitis. So we just basically listened to the songs over the speakers, which I understand laryngitis, you can't sing. But it was kind of a waste because it was hot in Texas. I remember that much. It was in the summer. So I'm like, I came out here, I paid the money. I'm hot. I don't like being hot. And now I'm just listening to the radio with a bunch of people surrounding me with seeing somebody sitting on a stool. Like it was one of those bless your heart moments that you're just like, okay.
Now, I really can't ask you this question, Sarah, because you haven't gone to a lot of shows. But Donnie, I'm going to ask you, what show did you go to that you were surprised how good it was?
I would say it was a recent one that my wife and I and some friends went to see Sarah McLachlan.
I remember you talking about that.
At Art Park.
Did
And
you bring the puppies right up on the stage in the cages?
I know. No, she didn't. She
starves them for a couple days so they look really hungry.
I know. Send your money. Send your money. No, but she did talk about, she did start another nonprofit of teaching music to children.
I thought you could say teaching music to dogs.
Yeah, no. Although I heard a promotion on, can I say a satellite radio station?
You say whatever you want because we're on XM. We're on Sirius XM.
Well, because it talks about the dogs. They started the station one for cats and one for dogs. And the promotion, they said,
really? That's
yeah,
crazy.
They said, put on the dog channel before you leave the house if your dog has separation anxiety, and they play
That's
certain
crazy.
sounds or music or whatever. I don't
That's
know. I'm like,
crazy.
Oh
oh
my
my
goodness.
God. So anyway, Sarah McLachlan, she really surprised me. She sounded fantastic. It was, I think, the 30 years from her big breakthrough album, and she sang a lot of those songs. I was very impressed. And Feist opened up for her.
Oh, how was that?
She was fabulous too. And I had like
For people
no
that don't
idea.
know, tell them what that is.
Leslie Feist.
Or what she does.
I can't. The song 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, I mean, what does she play, Don? Instrument
Oh,
wise.
guitar. She's fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous. Her
I'm
band was
getting her
great.
confused with somebody with the violin, so that's my
And
bad.
she's
Oh,
a
okay. Yeah, I
Canadian
didn't.
indie pop singer, songwriter, and guitarist.
There you go.
Information is brought to you by Sarah, our Google girl. You want to know a question? Ask Sarah.
What is it? Dana White does what? What does she do? Like, ooh.
Dana White. Dana
Dana
White
White.
is from MMA.
Okay,
I don't think he
here's-
turns letters, all right?
So I don't watch a lot of TV or a lot of shows or move. Like I'm not. Yeah.
I love that Pat Sajak and that
And I'm
Dana
not going
White.
to remember people's names.
They'll
So
be wrestling pretty soon.
if
Fighting.
I interact with you on a daily basis,
I love
I'll
how
remember your
Dana
name
White turns them letters. He
eventually.
does it so good in those gowns he's in. He looks so furry.
Whatever.
All right. How about
Okay.
you, Ed?
For me, I got a call from my cousin Pat. Eddie, you road trip? Want to go see a show? I'm like, sure. Where are we going? Wellsville, New York. Now, if you're from Wellsville, New York, I'm sorry. I really am. Because there's nothing in Wellsville, New York, you know? So we ended up staying in this little motel, and the band we saw was the Marshall Tucker Band
Really? In Wellsville?
in Wellsville.
Oh,
Well,
my
first of all, I was still drinking at the time, so we were all drinking, a lot of tequila and Krupnik, a hell of a combination, Polish and Mexican, Whew. And so there was only one Uber driver in Wellsville, New York. I kid you not. And he picks us up to take us to the show. It's like at this little camping area. And I go, you're going to come back and get us, right? And he's like, blah, blah, blah. It's far, blah, blah. I go, I'm going to give you $50. Show back up, and I'll give you another $50. And guess who was there after the show? He was there to pick us up. And Pat's like, I can't believe this guy came back. So if there was 3,000 people there, that was a lot. But I'll tell you, Don, I was never a fan of Marshall Tucker. I didn't even know who freaking Marshall Tucker Band was.
Really?
I'll tell you, it was a fun show, and I knew almost all the songs. It was like one of those bands, and you're like, oh my God, they sang that song?
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, I'm going to blow myself in on this. So Steve Urbanski went with us. And
Sorry, my mind was semi paying attention to some stuff,
well,
and I'm just not
back
even
on
going
mute.
to tell you
Go
where
back on mute.
what
Go
I.
back on mute, Sarah. Go back on mute. So he's like, I hope they play this one song, but I forget what it was. I heard it in a love song. You remember that song, Don?
Yeah, it's a great song.
I go, why? He goes, well, they haven't sang it in the past 5 years. I go, interesting. And so I went online to check the set list from the tour, and I saw they were singing that song. I go, bet you $50 they sing that song. Oh, yeah, that's a sucker's bet. They haven't sang it in 5 years. They start playing it. I took my 50, and I ended up buying concert shirts for me and Pat. So, Steve, on you, buddy. Thanks for the $50, sucker.
Oh, that's cheating. That's cheating.
Hey, we got Sarah with her Google, me with the set list. What else do you want?
Right?
So this was fun. I like doing this.
Wait, that's it?
That's it. We're pretty much done.
No. You got to go a little deeper.
To what?
All right, so I'll ask a question
Okay.
to both of you. Sarah's laughing. For those that can't see her, that are only listening, she's laughing hysterically.
Yeah, at least you're not hollering at me for a change.
Yeah. So, what I guess the question is, what was your biggest influencer into music? So who introduced you to music?
Can it
I'll
be more
start. Let's
than
start
one
with that.
person? Can it be more than one person?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because music involves stories and brings back memories, and that's why I think we talk about vinyl albums coming back. It's because when you pick up that record to put on the turntable, you think of, oh my God, the first time I heard this, or I heard this song when I was with these friends or with this girl or whatever the case might be. It brings back memories. So
Well,
that's just that feel to it.
so I'm
So
gonna go with vinyl first, and then concert wise. Um, well, you kind of a little bit of both. My cousin Mickey, um, he thought he'd be a good cousin and give me a lot of his vinyl albums, which I still have, and you could tell it's his because it's got his name on them still. But I was a little kid. I didn't know what all this stuff was. I mean, Kiss Alive, Kiss Double Platinum,
oh wow.
um, Styx, Pieces of Eight,
Yeah.
and then AC/DC Black, Back in Black. Totally
Classic.
changed what I was listening to. And then it got to the point where I'd save up my money and I'd ride my bike to the Seneca Mall to go to Cabbages, or ride my bike through the cemetery to get to Kmart, which sounds really odd, but to me it was normal.
That explains a lot.
Yes, and my cousin Sharon that took me to my first concert introduced me to Rush, and
Oh,
Rush became a lifelong thing. I mean, I have things in my apartment, but still, I mean, my daughter Allie was nice enough to buy me this poster, and the poster is I'm looking at it right now. It's for their biggest album, 2112, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the hell is this? So it has all the songs listed, and the digital signature of each song is on the poster. How
oh,
cool is that?
that's real
You know?
cool.
Yeah. So I mean, you're bringing up a good point, Don. It takes you back to thinking of things. I mean, I used to go to so many shows. I mean, go with my buddies. We take the bus, the 14 bus, the Abbott bus, down to the arena. I mean, I can't even imagine kids doing that today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or waiting outside Harvey, Corky, and Tice, waiting for them to sell their tickets. Luckily, I had a cousin that had a wife working there, so after I didn't have to do that for a whole lot of time. I think she was sick of me calling her. Hey, such and such, can I get a couple tickets?
No wonder I couldn't get those tickets.
Yeah,
You got them.
because I knew a chick instead of I knew a guy.
So tell when you Harvey, Corky, and Tice, who was Harvey?
No, not a good thing to talk about, Don.
You
Harvey
could just
Weinstein.
name drop. Yeah.
hmm He actually started off as a concert promoter in Buffalo, New York. Crazy.
While he was a student at University at Buffalo, UB.
I didn't know that. I just figured he was from Buffalo. I didn't know that.
No.
I don't really care where he's from. He's in jail now, isn't he?
I think he was released. That's
Hey.
a whole other.
So does he come over and visit you now, Don, that he's released?
No.
He's one of your buddies, one of your pals?
He did live down the street from me, though. He was.
Oh, see? Yeah.
But I didn't know.
I wouldn't brag about that, Don.
No. Anyway.
So who introduced you to the genre of music that you like, Don?
Well, I was going to ask Sarah if Sarah wants to answer.
So mine was where I grew up. Everybody listened to a lot of rap music, and so that's what I kind of listened to was more hip hop, rap. And then when I went to middle school is when I got exposed to alternative music and heavy metal, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing! So I started listening to that, and then I also did orchestra, so I got introduced to some classical. I can listen to some classical, just not all of it. So I listen to a little bit of everything because I pretty much like, as long as it has a good beat and it flows pretty good, like I can pretty much listen to anything. Jazz I cannot get into, which I can't figure out why. I want to like jazz because of how it just seems like a really cool kind of like genre, but I just can't get into that. But I've even listened to like techno, and it's all over the board. What I'm used to listening to, and it's a lot of different people that it just. I was hanging out with somebody and they were playing something, or I listened to the radio, or I got into like I don't know if you guys remember Enigma back in the 90s, early
I remember the
2000s.
name.
Yeah. So when they came out, they had like monks who were singing, but they also included some like instrumentals, and it was really cool. So it's like just listening to the radio and being open to listening to a lot of different genres is more what influenced my like of music. And I'd rather have music playing than the TV playing.
Well, you are definitely my sister because I got to thank my dad, Big Ed, for, teaching me that, listen to everything. You just might like it. And I have to apologize to Donnie, Ike, and Becca because every morning I'm at the gym and whatever I'm listening to, they're listening to also because I'm texting it to them. And Don, what genre do I send you?
It's all over the board. Today you were doing swing music from the 40s.
Yep.
Yes, or Friday was 50s, I think it was.
And your favorite one I send you is Die Antwoord, right? Hey, Nicky Boom Boom, hit me with the ching ching. It's like these South African rappers. I don't know if you ever heard of them, Sarah. They are crazy. I'm going to start sending you some of that. And you're going to say, bless your heart, Eddie. The first time I send it to Donnie, he goes, what? Where's that emoji you always send me with your head over your hand over? Yeah, that one. That one. He's like, what the F? Yeah, I don't think Donnie would ever say the F word because he's a good boy, but I could pretty much say that's what he's thinking. I even. Do you remember that K-Tel from the '70s, Don?
Oh yeah.
We were talking about Big Fat Irving. I sent you this morning, and it wasn't the version I was thinking of. Do you remember Frank Gorshin? Who that was?
Yeah. He was the Riddler on the Batman series.
He did Big Fat Irving on Dumb Ditties, and I think it's copyrighted because you can't find it anymore.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if this guy that I sent you this morning redid it, or Frank Gorshin redid his. I thought that was kind of interesting, though.
That is.
K-Tel.
Oh my God.
Best of this, best of that.
Yeah.
But I remember saving up my money and buying my father when they'd have the best of Neil Diamond and the best of Roger Whittaker. When's the last time you heard
that? I remember seeing that commercial.
Oh yeah, over and over and over again.
Sarah's like, Roger Whittaker. Let me Google that. K-Tel, Frank Gorshin.
I am my pride. Sing some Neil Diamond for you, Donnie.
So my influence, I guess, my first influences were my. It seems like it's an older relative that introduces.
Whoa! Was it the Solid Gold dancers? He always liked whoever had gold records. That's who he listened to.
Wasn't it Dean Martin with the Gold Diggers? Right. Anyway, so my cousin Tony and his sister Marie really introduced myself and my brothers to a lot of different music. I mean, I remember hearing about the Beatles through them. I was a little kid, but and then so my cousin is more jazz oriented, and he was into the dance scene a lot. My cousin Marie was more rock oriented. Grand Funk Railroad,
we
like
just
that.
talked about those. I went last year; they were fantastic.
Oh yeah, I wish I've never seen them. I wish I could see them. And then we were so into music with my brothers and some friends. We would just literally just sit around in the summer, just listening to music and buying an album and, oh, this is great, or oh, I picked up this one. You got to hear this one, And one of my friends actually, last month, I think it was, somebody had asked him on Facebook to do 20 albums in 20 days and just
oh wow, that's
what
cool.
what influenced him with music, And so many of those albums we were influenced together with.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun.
Like when I moved to Texas from Buffalo, I left a lot of my albums back there, which I know Katie and her friends took a bunch of them. But my father was huge into buying LPs because, dude, I know Sarah might not remember this, but the stereos look like a piece of furniture
Oh
with these
yeah,
big
the
speakers.
consoles.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
With like the record player, the AM, FM, and all that. And what amazed me and is where he would get these records from because gas stations used to give you the records.
Oh,
Like
that's
get a
right.
fill up, you get this Christmas album or this and that. But the
Yeah.
one thing that was really amazing to me that he had a couple albums that were stereo sounds.
Oh, yeah.
So you would sit there in between the speakers and you would hear everything. And if you put headphones on, it was even cooler, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Yeah.
But and they were so heavy, those old records, compared
Yes.
to what they are now. It's funny, I sold so many albums because I had so many. I mean, I won the top 84 albums of 1984. So I had a ton of record albums. And now you go to the store like either Walmart or Target and you're looking at over $30 an LP.
Oh yeah. Easy.
It's like,
Easy.
you gotta be kidding me. That's just insane.
Yes. So one of the friends I was talking about, his name is Mike, that did the 20 albums in 20
Mhm.
days.
That is very cool.
Yeah, it was. But I don't know. A number of years ago, he got rid of his vinyl collection. He had a lot of albums, and so he started buying on vinyl the albums that he had gotten rid of that he has on CD or whatever. So we'll get together occasionally and go to a record store and get some albums, and we know each other's taste, music taste. So
Oh
hey,
yeah.
Mike, look what I found. You like this one, or do you have this one? Or you say, oh,
Like
Don,
my
it's
father
fun.
always embraced new technology, so he had a CD. Went and got the CD players when they first came out, which were huge.
Yeah,
The only thing he screwed up on is that when the cassette recorders came out, he went Betamax.
instead of VCR.
Yes,
Sarah, do you have any idea what we're talking about there? Or
VHS.
VHS.
Yeah.
VHS.
Yeah, I know VHS. I have a ton of VHS tapes.
Do you
I
know
know.
Betamax? She's got to look it up. Don't
Maybe.
look it up. Betamax was
Oh,
Sony, but it was a
Is that the only
smaller.
people that had Betamax?
Yeah, they copyrighted it. It was a Sony product, and it was a
What's
smaller
crazy
than
about the Betamax,
VHS.
Don, it had a remote control that was wired to the friggin' Betamax machine. It wasn't even like infrared or anything.
Yeah,
It was
we
like
had
a
one like that for
25-foot cord.
VHS.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
okay. So my family was not fancy enough to have a Betamax. We had VHS, and we had VHS for a very long time.
No, I said it's not even about being fancy. They both came
I'm
out
going
at
to
the
say
same
it's being
time.
fancy because I didn't have one. Shh.
That's all right. But the Betamax sound and
Quality was
visual
much
quality
better.
was better,
Hmm.
but it just wasn't adopted.
They were even
Mainstream.
smaller
They were
than a
smaller.
VHS tape. I can
Yeah.
picture them right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I remember the 8-track tapes, the little things that you stuck in the.
Whoever thought that was a great idea? I don't understand that at all.
So you're on track 1, then you can hit the button for track 4 that goes to that song. I had one in my car.
It's funny, Don, when all the Twin Fairs closed, they had a huge warehouse on Harlem Road in West Seneca.
Oh,
And for like a month, they sold LPs, cassettes, 8-tracks. That's where I got a lot of my stuff too.
wow.
It was
Yeah, I
just
used to buy a lot at
I wish I had
Twin
half
Fair
the
store.
stuff that I got rid of,
Oh my gosh,
just like
I know.
anybody.
I know.
So,
Oh, it's funny.
well, it's almost not even like this was a rock and roll edition. This was more like a nostalgia edition for the three
I
of us.
know. Hopefully,
Go down
we're
memory
bringing
lane.
some good memories for people.
I hope so too. Please comment and like it. I'd like to hear from everybody what your favorite concert moment was. What who got you turned on to whatever genre you like. And like I said, I'm still open to anything. I go anywhere from Zach Brown to Iron Maiden to Diane Ford, to like Donny was.
Oh, you muted
You
yourself.
muted yourself.
Yes. No.
I hit the chord like for a second. It must be sensitive. So, but we're gonna close up the show, and I'm gonna change a little bit what we say. If you like people that are just like you and have the same stories as you do, we're the people to see. www.ebiagency.com, hotline 716-306-2020. It was kind of nice not talking business today and talking about stuff that we all enjoyed, and we shared that experience because even though everybody's different, we all have similar experience, especially when it comes to music. So for your buddy Eddie Buffalo, Donnie Lowe, and the extra sassy today, Sarah. Tune in next Tuesday for Tax Questions with Sassy Sarah.
Ciao.
Take care, everybody. Bye.